Orla, and I'm sorry that Deputy O'Brien and Deputy Blaney have left the chamber, because it is not true what Deputy O'Brien said. Deputy Penrose and Deputy Wall indeed tonight have very clearly stated that the Labour Party will reverse this decision, because this decision to reduce the minimum wage is a core issue for us, and indeed in the terms of our motion we talk about the threshold of decency. And that is essentially what this is about. And Deputy Lynch has just spoken just now about the agenda that's really at work here. And there is undoubtedly an agenda at work here that is not simply just about the minimum wage. And we don't subscribe to that agenda. I just heard Deputy O'Brien talking about that what this is really about is having a difference between the person who goes to work for 40 hours a week and earns €306 and the person on welfare who gets €188. Now that is absolutely pathetic, and that is not where any of this should have started. This should have started at the top. This is about cutting people at the very bottom of the scale on welfare and on income, and it is not acceptable. And before I came into this chamber, I had to leave a meeting with the Dell Redundant Workers Group, and I said to the people I was with that I had to come in here to speak about the minimum wage. And the man sitting beside me said to me, yeah, he said, they want me to go to work and I will lose my mortgage interest relief, I lose my medical card, to work for €306 a week, and on top of that these people are now going to be included in the universal charge as well. So I mean, this is coming from people who are not living in the real world anymore. The real world is about people who are struggling to make ends meet. Last night Deputy Penrose talked about the fact that electricity, bus fares, bread, coal, milk, rent and school so-called voluntary contributions, those things have all gone up significantly since 2007. They are the things that the people we are talking about spend their money on. And those are the people who are going to have to try and struggle on those levels of income. And again, I want to go back to some of the contributions that were made here by the government contributors. And last night, Minister Bat O'Keefe talked about the fact, and I quote from him, he said, according to the latest figures from the CSO for the second quarter of this year, the minimum wage rate now applies to about 3.2% of the workforce and has a disproportionate effect on employers in the hospitality, retail, manufacturing and horticultural sectors. Now, what has an awful lot more of an impact on particularly the first two of those, hospitality and retail, is the fact that people don't have money to spend. And the people we're talking about who are on minimum wage and are on welfare, those people have to spend all their money in the local economy, because they have to spend all their money, because they won't survive if they don't spend all their money. They're not putting money away to go on holidays, or they're not the kind of people that we saw on reeling in the years on 2007 the other day, who were going off to New York to go shopping. And you know, Deputy Rabbitte has made the point that the comparison that's been made to 2007 was at the top of the boom. You're talking about people who are trying to struggle to literally survive in our economy. And are we also saying that people who work in the back-breaking horticultural sector, that I'm sure Minister Cuff here has an interest in, that those people are supposed to do that kind of, as I said, back-breaking horticultural work for a wage of just over €300? And as Deputy Shortall has very clearly pointed out here, the actual take-home pay of those workers is under €300. So this is not, this is simply not acceptable in a civilised society. And what we're really talking about here is a two-tier society, where we're suggesting that people in those kinds of jobs, on those lowest paid jobs, and in many cases the hardest working kinds of jobs in those particular sectors, that those people somehow or other are different people than the hospital consultants and the people at the top in the civil service and people at the top in the private sector, who somehow or other need all this extra money in order to survive, and that we can't go attacking them, that we have to start at the bottom with people on welfare, people on minimum wage. Well, we shouldn't be starting at the bottom, we should be starting at the top, because if the country is in the kind of trouble that it is, which was brought about by the Fianna Fáil-led government, well then it is the people who can afford to pay who should be paying, and not the people at the bottom of the ladder. And the Labour Party emphatically states again that we are totally against this measure and that we will reverse it when we're in government.